trade.
I'd like trade, intellectual, trade, intellectual, trade, thank
trade, intellectual, budget, trade, enforcement, trade, enforcement.
No.
Thank you. Trade, intellectual, trade. Thank,
trade.
Thank, trade. Thank, trading our intellectual trade. Think intellectual trade.
Enforcement, trade enforcement.
Thank enforcement.
Trade, intellectual trade. Thank,
Trade, intellectual enforcement, intellectual trade, enforcement, trade enforcement.
budget, enforcement.
Intellectual.
Trade, thank, enforcement.
As I've said, enforcement.
Trade, enforcement.
Trade,
Thank you. Trade, intellectual.
trade.
Thank you.
Enforcement, trade, budget, enforcement, budget, enforcement, budget. I wanted to thank you.
Thank trade. Thank intellectual.
Thank trade, thank.
Think trade.
Intellectual
Trade.
Thank, trade.
Thank enforcement,
Enforcement, trade. Thank, trade. Thank, intellectual trade.
Think.